it was something that was always a problem for me for a long time. I'm glad I got it fixed. Got 7 screws put in the hand, 6 or 7 screws got put in the hand, and I got like a bone graft from my hip to put in my hand, and they fused it all. So that's one pain that I used to have for a long time. It's no longer there now, so I can't wait to get back in the ring and get a feel of it. But yeah, I am in training camp. I've started training camp early because I wanted to kind of get focused and also set a date, which I'm looking at towards end of April or early May, and I wanted to just kind of get back into groove again.
Is it going to be a little bit strange landing that first right hand, do you think? How does it feel, you know, back in the gym and on the bags and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, on the bag it feels okay because the bags are padded, and also the gloves are quite big. But when you go in the ring, the gloves are going to be small, and when I hit with someone with the right hand, there's not going to be much padding to protect the hand. So it is going to be a little bit tough, but I'm sure that once the adrenaline kicks in, I'll be fine.
And we're looking at the end of April, start of May. What's the latest? Is it going to be over here? Do we know an opponent? What can you tell us?
Well, there's a lot of talk about the opponent. People talking about Manny Pacquiao. That fight may happen, may not happen. But I'm not even focusing on that because, you know, I've been let down that many times in boxing where fights were meant to happen. There was a poll he did, and I got the 50% of the votes. People said you should fight Amir. But look, if that fight happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, you know, I'm looking at other options. I've spoke to Al Heyman, and he is looking at opponents for me also looking at a date venue, and hopefully I should fight there.
What's the situation then with the Pacquiao talks? Because like you say, it looked like it was done. We were all expecting an announcement. Are the talks ongoing? Where does it stand at the moment?
Well, you know, I left it to my team to speak to Manny and his advisor Michael. If the fight happens, it makes sense for both of us. It's a big fight. There was talks about it happening in the UAE. Then there was talks about maybe the money's not there, maybe the money is there. So it just got a little bit messy. So I kind of stepped back. I told my team, look, if it is going to make sense, if we do get contracts, then the fight can happen. If not, then I'm going to carry on and fight end of April, May.
Just one away from you. It's obviously a busy gym in here, usually with male boxers, but we've got a female now with Virgil Hunter and Nicola Adams, two-time Olympic gold medalist, superstar of British boxing. What's it like having her around? How's she been? How's she settled in?
Yeah, she's brilliant. It's been good to have her here, training alongside her. She's a great champion, being an Olympic champion, and you know, when I first saw her here, she seemed very shy, very quiet. But you know, she's a really good fighter, and she wants to be the best, and she chose one of the best gyms in the world. Coming here, leaving England, where she's got a great fan base, she's got family and friends there, to come over here and isolate herself and focus on boxing, it shows how serious she's taken the sport. So I've got a lot, you know, I give a lot of respect for that, and I think for her next fight, she will definitely win in flying colours, and also she could be have we ever had a British boxing world champion?
No.
I think she could be our first, because the way she's been looking in the gym, honestly, she's been looking really good and really strong, and a lot stronger, a little different to how she looked in the Olympics, where she was hitting and moving, but now she's like sitting on shots, and you can see how much she's developed, the power and everything, so she's looking really good.
You mentioned there she's isolated herself. You know all about that, having come over here, you know, a few years ago. You must have some advice for her and, you know, some tips, because it is a big move, isn't it? Especially coming from the GB setup as well.
It's a massive move, you know, but it's always so good. It's always good to kind of keep connection with the UK. I mean, one thing about me, I love to keep connected still with the UK. Even though I train out here, I fight out here quite a lot, I still love my fans in the UK, and I try to show them as much as I can on social media what I'm doing here, why I'm here. So I'm very active on social media just to kind of give my fans in the UK a chance. I mean, 60–70% of my followers on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook are all from the UK. So you know, I have to keep them involved with what's going on and everything else. And I think Nicola needs to do the same thing. She needs to definitely interact with the fans from the UK. Her training here isn't a bad thing, but can sometimes work against you because you're leaving the UK to train. But she's only doing it for her future, and you know, I'm 100% behind her. And I think she just needs to maybe still go back to UK, meet her family, meet her fans, meet her friends, do TV shows there, be seen around there. And yeah, I think she's doing. She does that anyway. So I think she's in good hands here, because obviously I can give her some advice and also Virgil can give us some good advice as well. So, like I say, she's in good hands.
She makes her debut live and exclusive on BoxNation and BT Sport in Manchester, April the 8th. Do you think we'll see you back in the UK soon?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it'd be brilliant for me to come back to UK and put on a fight on there. Look, April 8th is a little bit too soon for me. If it was like May 8th or May 7th, it would have been or 6th, so it would have worked better for me because maybe that could have happened a month after. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'd love to go back to UK and put a fight on there. It's been a long time, a couple of years now. It's been. I get a lot of messages and emails from people saying, when are you going to fight back in the UK? We want to see you live. But it's going to be soon. Maybe my next fight could be in the UK. That's something I'm going to try for. I'm speaking to Al Heyman at the moment to see if we can get that done. So I should find out within the next couple of weeks, really.
And let me just ask you as well about Kell Brook against Errol Spence for that IBF Welterweight Championship. Spence a mandatory challenger, undefeated southpaw. Kell Brook obviously coming off the back of a defeat against Gennady Golovkin. Who wins that fight for you?
I think it's a good fight. Both fighters are hungry. I think Errol Spence is looking amazing. He's a young lion, you know. He's a young fighter who wants to become world champion. He's hungry, and it's like how we were when we were young. You know, we wanted to do the same thing. So I think it's a 50-50 fight. You know, you've got Kell Brook who's currently the champion, and you've got Errol Spence who wants to be the champion. So I give it a 50-50 fight. You know, whoever shines that night, you know, I think has a great future ahead of them. You know, has a great few good fights ahead of them. But if it is Errol Spence, I think, which a lot of people think it's going to be, then yeah, I think it'll look good. But look, we always have to be supporting our home fighters in the UK. You know, I want the belts to stay in the UK. So yeah, let's see. I mean, but it'll be a hard fight for Kell to win, but I'm sure he can do it if he worked hard. Just
one final one before you get back to training. It seems like Mayweather against Conor McGregor looks like it might be happening. They're talking about, you know, a date and a venue and stuff like that. What's your take on that fight, considering your history with Mayweather and not getting those fights? How do you feel about him coming out of retirement to fight an MMA fighter? What happens?
Look, it makes good business sense. Mayweather is a businessman, and I think it makes good sense. So why not? If it's going to make good money, then why not? You know, I think it happened for me. You know, God has a better plan. I think for Mayweather, this Conor McGregor fight, if it happens, I mean, I think it'll be good for boxing because it's only going to promote boxing. I'm sure it's going to be a boxing fight. It's not going to be an MMA fight. So I think Mayweather wins that quite easily, but it just makes big noise and puts boxing on the map where it needs to be, because boxing has not been getting the right publicity, not been getting the right image, you know, lately, and we want boxing to be right at the back of the top again. You know, you got UFC doing great things, but we want to see boxing at the top. And same with Al Heyman, what he's doing with PBC. You know, PBC is doing great. He's changing up boxing a little bit with PBC, making everyone a superstar when they fight on Premier Boxing Championship. So I just think that boxing needs a fight like this, and I think Mayweather wins it, in my opinion.